Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else. Time for another SCRAWLRBOX. This box has seen better days. Let's take a look.
Yes!
Pull the tab. Open the lid. Okay. More water coloring stuff. It involves water, definitely. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm gonna guess water-soluble graphite. That's my guess. Let's see. Katarina Kamiek, illustrator based in Poland. Ooh, she founded an art school. Perspective drawing in watercolor. Cool, cool, cool. Contact information. Move my thumbs out of the way. That's pretty. Let's take a look. What else we got? Oh, that's heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So, Watercolor Pad, A5, Faringid, GSM, cold pressed. It's got a nice texture to it, but interesting, it's got like diagonal lines. I wonder if that'll show up when you put materials on it, but it's pretty thick stuff. And how many 8 pieces. I have to say, I've been really enjoying having more paper with my SCRAWLRBOX. I think it really elevates the quality of the box rather than just giving you 1 or 2 sheets of paper. So now I have just like a wonderful collection of different types of A5 paper that are just so good when I want to sit down and draw something. And I love it. And it's nice. Also trying different, actually knowing the brand of the material is nice, because before it would just be 2 random sheets and then the little card would tell you what it was, but let's see what's inside. Tear, tear, rip, tear. July, SCRAWLRBOX. There's tubes. Tube watercolors? Okay, so nice texture read. We'll SCRAWLRBOX sticker. A 2-ended eraser. Look at the things. 1 for inks, 1 for pencils, I'm going to guess by the picture. And the erasers for inks I've seen before have been gray. That's nice. A little candy. Bourbon? Bonbon? Bonbon? Bonbon. Bonbon Fin. Another paintbrush. I absolutely adore SCRAWLRBOX paintbrushes. I've been over this before. I love it when they give me paintbrushes because I always need new paintbrushes, but I never buy them because I'm cheap. More lazy. Anyway, paintbrush, water soluble graphite, and a 4B and an 8B. That's interesting. So if you don't know, with pencil numbers, the B's are usually kind of a darker thing, but the higher the number, the more dense and dark the color is. Usually the softer the lead. but also harder to erase. So 4B, 8B. I usually like 3B, 4B when I'm doing pencil drawings because it gets really dark when you want it to, but also it can be very light, where 8B is very hard to work lightly with. And then what do we got? Liquid pencil. That's it. What's liquid pencil? How do you, is it a twist? It's a twist. Does that look like a twist? Oh, I gotta poke the hole. But it's a twist and then later it's a pop top. Interesting. That's a cool lid design. So you get to kind of choose what you'd rather do. Oh. So we got blue, gray number 9. Gray number 9 seems more full than my blue, but I might be crazy. And yellow. So we're gonna be able to get greens and blues, and we're gonna use the white of the paper. Huh. Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Limited color palettes for the win! Let's find out more! Our wonderful little catalog. We have explaining everything. So, these paints are graphite based, and you can use the eraser to remove the graphite portion of the paint. What? So the color will remain, but the kind of gritty texture won't. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Water soluble, like I thought. Double-ended eraser. Yep, rough side for ink. Does a great job removing any stubborn areas of these liquid graphite paints. Good to know, especially when we've got an 8B. Here's the artist and some more of her beautiful work. Oh, that bright green is gorgeous. I have a feeling she's going to want us to do a landscape. I haven't done a landscape in ages. Oh, her darks are just so nice. Some help, suggestions and stuff. Good to know. Don't expect it to work exactly like watercolor. Good to know. And some of the scrawlers from last time. And capturing nature and talking about how they're donating to trees now, and it's awesome. I like these books. They're useful. So this is the inspiration. This is the materials. Let's see. We're all familiar with the graphite and have probably used many wooden, just hitting that keyboard and making that noise. We're all familiar with graphite and have probably used many wooden case graphite pencils in the past. Have you ever used liquid graphite? This month we're experimenting with this interesting medium and are exploring the different ways it can be used and applied and erased and all kinds of stuff. Mother Nature is our theme. Let's make something together. Da-da-da-da-da. So because the tubes had like the snappy caps, I was so used to screw-off tubes having a little pointy end on the lid to poke a hole into the aluminum, but they didn't, so I had to use my nail file. And I was trying to be very careful because I didn't want it to like explode out everywhere. And even one of the tubes, the seal on it, even when it's twisted closed, is not a really strong seal. I was squeezing the tube, trying to get all the paint towards the end, and it was just oozing out the sides, which was gross. You can see here, just a pile of ooze out the side. These were really like watery and liquidy. There is a lot of cat hair stuck to that palette. I was expecting them to be thicker, I know they're watercolors, but still. There's kind of a neat metallic-iness to them because of the lead that's inside of the paint. I was disappointed by the lack of brightness. Like, they all look the same. I mean, the yellow one is slightly more baby poop yellow-brown. I tried to spread some around on the palette with the white underneath to see if I could get any more color from them, but it just really wasn't there. I understand it's lead, and lead has a bunch of, gray in it. But you'd think they would pop the color a little bit more, add some more contrast. I mean, the yellow and blue are different, but when you compare the blue and the gray, it is just the tiniest difference. And then you look at the fact that we had two different pencils, it just wasn't there. This drawing itself is actually the second one I did, and at the end of this video I'll show you the monstrosity that was the first. And the drawing did not turn out how I wanted it to, so I didn't want to waste the paper, so I went ahead and colored it anyways to try out all the tools. And then I did this one. So, because of the materials and I knew I'd have to do a lot of layering, I decided to kind of try to go about doing a negative painting. I've talked about this process before unsuccessfully for 2 SCRAWLRBOXes ago, and yeah, I decided to try it again here, where you start light and then you just build up and build up and build up, but I didn't add depth. So I guess that wouldn't be negative painting, it would just be layering. The pencils dissolved pretty nicely. I didn't worry about scrubbing too much to get rid of the pencil lines because that's just what this art piece was going to be, and I knew I was going to add 6 million layers. There was a picture that I really liked of a cat in some leaves, but I decided to change the cat out with my own cat in tuxedo. I mean, it goes better with the whole black and white and pencil things. I keep wanting to say blyerts because that's the Swedish word for graphite, and I always have to translate it because people don't know exactly what I'm talking about when I'm saying pencil. I have to say blyerts because it's blyertspenna for a graphite pencil. Anyway, you can see me slowly just wetting and fading out the pencil. At this point, I'd only been using the harder pencil, I think this was at a 4B, and the 8B on the slightly darker areas. And then I finally started adding some of the yellow into the ground. After I let it dry for a little bit, I would go back in, add some more pencil, so I could add another layer of darkness and another layer of detail. And I basically just repeated this process over and over and over again, adding more detail, adding water, adding more detail, adding water. You will see me pop in and out with this big thing that says Derwent on the side. This is actually a mechanical, robot eraser. So what it does is it pinches a piece of eraser on the end and then spins super fast, so I don't have to spend time scrubbing and smudging the graphite. I know this box came with an eraser, and I think I kind of failed the challenge because I didn't use it really at all. But I needed a finer point from when I was using the materials, so I went with my mechanical eraser. Also, with erasing, I needed to erase a lot in a tiny area. So yeah. And I couldn't find, I have 2 eraser pencils from SCRAWLRBOXes, and I just could not find them. I need to go back through my art supplies at some point. But yes, this thing is super nice because it basically can just buzz its way through materials. Here I am adding a thicker layer of the yellow. Also, I guess at some point I kind of gave up on removing the eraser shavings. That's pretty bad, isn't it? But, I guess I didn't prioritize it. I was just so into the drawing, I forgot about cleaning up after myself. That can happen, right? Man, this really doesn't look like anything right now. It's just blobs of shading and eraser shavings and scribbles. I am not, like, oh my god, amazed with how this turned out. I'm happy with the materials. I did not like this paint. Like, I liked having a watercolor pencil that was a different hardness, because most of the ones I've had have been like 2B, 3B, harder lead, so it's cool to have an 8B watercolor pencil. I'll be honest. I'm looking forward to that. I might do a actual like pencil drawing and see what happens when I add water to it. That would be cool. I think I'll do that. I think I'm gonna get all of my watercolor graphite pencils and do 2 drawings and then add water to one and see what it looks like. That sounds fun. Should I do that? I should do that. Anyway, I slowly started adding more detail to my kitty cat. This is me definitely using the 8B now. And if you didn't know, something that you can do to really like pump up the dark black color that I'm doing here is I'm actually taking the pencil itself and dipping it into the water. Softens the lead even more and you just get such a dark, rich color in there. So that's why it looks wet with the pencil, is because it totally is. At this point, I knew I wasn't going to get any more bright white, and I really wanted to bring out the eyes and some of the other details of my putty cat's face, so I got out the gel pen, good old gel pen, and started adding some more random textures and just adding little details to the cat's face. If this had been a bigger piece of paper, I think I could have tried a little harder to get these lines with erasers and other materials. But since this is such a small piece of paper, that would have been very hard to do. Like I said earlier, I like how this turned out. I think it's cool, especially with the materials. I probably won't use these graphite paints again. They were not easy, but I'm excited to do more with the pencils. And the paper was nice. It was nice and thick. It didn't tear with the washi tape or anything. Yeah, I did a thing. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this. Found it interesting. I rambled a lot. It's my cat, sort of. It's another SCRAWLRBOX. It's art, question mark. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and thank you to my patrons, Jamie, Hans, Mom, Dad, Cindy, and Kaze. And by the way, for the record, here is the horrible, terrifying monster of the previous artwork I did. Yeah. Bye!